Food sovereignty. You know what that is? You have any idea? If you've never heard that term before, it's the ability of a community or a country or a region to feed itself, to be food secure. So if a crisis ever happened, we wouldn't be cut off from our own food supply and we wouldn't starve to death. Canada is not a food sovereign nation. We import 65% of our produce. Crazy, right? So if anything ever went sideways, like, I don't know, like a global pandemic, we wouldn't be able to feed ourselves because we import a lot of our food. Why does this matter? I'm having a real hard time with this one, okay? The federal government just announced that they're going to follow through on their compensation package for supply management farmers, which includes dairy farmers, poultry, egg, to compensate them for trade deals they signed with the European Union and the Pacific Rim. These were very well documented, and it was something that went through the parliament, and they kind of hummed and hawed about it, and finally they settled on the number of about $1.7 billion for dairy farmers that they would be compensated. That equates to, if you have 80 head of cows, and it's based on quota, let's say you have 80 cows, you would get about $38,000. A check for you. No strings attached, a check. 4 times. $38,000 4 times. Now that might seem like a lot to some people, but for a dairy farmer, it's not really a lot because they have a lot of payments for equipment and upkeep and all those types of things, and land and inputs and all that kind of stuff. However, it is a lot. It's a lot of goddamn money. The reason they're getting this money is because the federal government had to sacrifice access to the supply management system with other countries in order to get the trade deal done. They had to allow other countries to sell their food here so that they could get the trade deal done. That means that dairy producers and egg producers and poultry producers, their lobby groups argued that they were losing market share and they should be compensated. And the federal government agreed and is now going to give them money. Let's not blame the farmers in this, okay? Let's not go to an individual farmer's house and kick over his mailbox and say, screw you for taking $38,000 out of my pocket. That's not how this works, really. These are lobby groups that do this, and not all dairy farmers necessarily want the compensation. However, they are all going to take it because we all would too. That's not the issue. The issue here is, why is it okay for us to sign an international trade deal to further indebt us to other countries for food, to put us at their whim? We're going to take away market share for local producers and then pay them so that we can have other people sell a similar product, but maybe at higher prices, from other countries here. We are becoming less food secure. We need to start separating food from business. It is a big business, I understand that, but food should be its own thing. We should aim to be food secure, a food sovereign nation. And this money that is going out to these dairy farmers is apparently supposed to help them innovate and create greater efficiencies. But I got news for you. Most of these dairy farmers that are getting these checks are probably pretty efficient already, or they wouldn't be in business. And they've probably already innovated as much as they can, but the money they're going to get is not going to help them do a big further innovation because they're just real expensive. I grew up in a dairy farm. I know what this world looks like. And that money is not going to go to waste, but I would challenge this. There's 2 things. Number 1, if you are in the supply management system, I would love it if you proved me wrong. Show me how, let's say you have 80 cows, you're going to lose $160,000. That's approximately $38,000 4 times. You're going to lose $160,000 in revenue from this deal. Show that to me in numbers, just numbers. And if you have more than that, I'd love to see how much money you're actually losing, because that would be crazy. And I don't actually think that that's happening. Number 2, we absolutely should feed ourselves first within our borders, within our regions. We have just seen in the last year that when our borders close, we are literally at the whim of a virus or external governments on whether or not we're going to get the things that we need to live. Food is not a luxury. It's an absolute human necessity. Let's stop whoring out our food to other countries for a trade deal to make more money, because you can't eat your money. I tried, tastes like shit. Cuts your teeth.